Hello and welcome to this week's vlog. So this week I wanted to talk a bit about pregnancy and the weight gain and how to lose weight after you've had a baby. It's something that people have been asking me about, kind of how do you get back to your body shape and, you know, get back to your normal size after you've had a baby. And it got me sort of thinking about the fact that I didn't really have any plan of action for losing the weight, and somehow miraculously have managed to get back to my normal size about 4 months after Oren's birth. And there's a lot of pressure in sort of magazines and newspapers, and you'll see celebrities and on beaches a couple of months after they've had a baby, and there's always a big emphasis on how they've lost the weight, which I think is a little bit sad, because if you've had a baby, it's such a big event in your life. And it's kind of a bit tragic that it's turned to be more about how the mum looks after she's had a baby and how that's become a sort of sole focus, when there's so much more important things to enjoy about it. But yeah, as I started sort of thinking about, well, how did I approach or think about my body when I was pregnant and after I'd given birth, I realised that when I was pregnant, I didn't really give it much focus. I don't know if I refused to or if I just didn't. I just didn't think about it. I sort of allowed that whatever changes happened to my body when I was pregnant, it wasn't something that I had any control over. So I was just gonna, you know, play it by ear and see what happened. One thing I did do when I was pregnant, I just sort of was very instinctive with everything that I did. I didn't concentrate on eating certain foods or thinking about the amount of calories I was eating. I simply just ate when I was hungry, and you know, when I wasn't hungry, then I didn't. I made sure not to overeat. There's kind of this misconception of eating for two or taking advantage of the fact that you can eat whatever you want. But you know, the more weight you put on during pregnancy, you are going to have to lose it at some point. So that's kind of not a very clever thing to do. But yeah, I didn't really set out to kind of, I think I put on more than 2 stone during my pregnancy. And after Oren was born, you kind of obviously straight away lose the baby weight. So that was, you know, 8 pounds 4 ounces gone. And within, they say breastfeeding helps, I don't know, but in the next, you know, couple of weeks, few weeks, as your body sort of gets back to normal, it sort of, the rest of it just sort of folds off. I think it was the last half a stone that sort of lingered for a bit longer. But again, I didn't, the same with during my pregnancy, I didn't worry too much about it. I didn't have any sort of goal in my mind of saying, oh, I want to be this size by then, I want to have lost this weight by then. I allowed that it was going to take as long as it was going to take and just sort of relinquish that control over it. I just kind of wanted to concentrate on getting out and about with Oren and just enjoying the time with Oren. And I think the more you actually are out, and do you want to play with Nelly? No, do you want to chew my finger? I think the more you are out and about with the baby and out doing things, it gives you a whole different focus, which is how it should be, because you shouldn't be worrying about weight at that time. You should be out enjoying the time spent with the baby. And the more you are out and about and the more active you are, that's obviously going to help you to lose weight. Also, I think not feeling, or actually another good thing I feel is, I had a wedding to look forward to not long after I'd given birth, and it's always really good to have a kind of clear focus like that, because you spend so long in your pregnancy. I wore the life out of my maternity leggings, and you spend so long just, you know, just feeling a bit frumpy and not being able to wear heels, not being able to get dressed up, that having an occasion not long after you've given birth is a really good focus. And it's good mentally being able to envision yourself looking good and dressing up nicely, and yeah, it just gives you that good focus. So if you can sort of get something like that in the diary, that's for after you've had a baby, that's good motivation. And another thing, yeah, was kind of, I feel that the more pressure you put yourself on to get back to your normal body weight, your normal shape and size, it actually can make it a lot harder, because after you've had a baby, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, everything kind of goes out the window. Your sleeping patterns go out the window, how you eat goes out the window. I can't imagine, I didn't even try, and I don't know how anyone would follow a strict diet, because you kind of eat as and when. You kind of, everything just kind of has to go along with the flow of the baby, and you know, your time, you can't really plan your time. I don't know how anyone would be able to plan time in their day to exercise or to go to the gym or to have any sort of diet and exercise structure, because you know, the baby, you have to kind of revolve everything around the baby. And I think if you set yourself up planning to do these things in that sort of strict regime, well, you're only going to get frustrated with yourself, because that's not going to be possible. And if you have managed to do that, then you know, hats off to you, because I certainly couldn't have. So I think the kind of focus is on pressure and how much pressure you put on yourself. So don't feel in any rush to lose the baby weight too quickly. Give yourself a break, and try to not be too hard on yourself, because like I said, I feel that the more pressure you put yourself under to lose weight, the harder it actually becomes. Yeah, so like I said, I don't have an amazing list of top tips as to how I got back to my pre-baby size, but I do think a lot of it is in just sort of being a bit more chilled out about the whole thing. So that's my advice. Chill out, chill out, chill out. See you next week.